Hello everyone, I'm Paul and this is problem 2948. Make lexicographically smallest array by swapping elements. This is a medium problem that might become a bit tricky, so next I will show you what's my thought process and what I think is a reasonably intuitive solution. We are given an array with positive integers nums and a positive integer limit, so let's say that we are given this input. In one operation, we can choose any two indices and swap the corresponding elements only if the absolute difference of these two elements is smaller or equal to the limit that we are given. And our job is to return the lexicographically smallest array that we can get by performing these operations any number of times. So we are trying to rearrange these elements to get the lexicographically smallest array that we can build. The smallest element here is 1, so here we keep 1, but here we have a 7. So what if we try to swap a 7 with a 2, for example? The difference between 7 and 2, the absolute difference, is equal to 5, and 5 is larger than the limit, which is 3 in this case. This means that we can't swap these two elements. What if we try 6? Now we can swap elements because the absolute difference in this scenario is 1 and 1 is smaller than 3. If the absolute difference is smaller or equal to limit, we can swap elements. So we swap the two elements, now this is 6 and this is 7. Next we have 18. We can't swap the two elements because the absolute difference is 16 and that's larger than 3. We can't swap the two elements neither, so here we keep 18. Next we are here and we can swap the two elements, right? Because the absolute difference is 1 and 1 is more than 3. So now this is a 1 and this is a 2. Given that this is the lexicographically smallest array that we can build after any number of operations, we return this. So maybe you're thinking about iterating every pair of numbers. We can do this with a nested for loop and two pointers, I and j. The problem is down here in the constraints. This approach will require time complexity of n squared, and here n, meaning the length of the array, can be of up to 10 to the power of 5, and this to the power of 2 is a huge number. We have to think about something more efficient. The main idea here is that we can only swap two elements if they belong to the same subset where each element has a difference of at most limit with at least one element in the same subset. Let's see what this means. Let's say for a moment that we don't have this element and this is a 3 instead of a 2. We can swap these two elements, right? Because the absolute difference is equal to the limit. And even better, we can place this 3 in this position. How? Well, we can swap these two elements because the absolute difference is 1, so this is 6 and this is 7. And now we can swap these two elements because the absolute difference is 3. So this is a 3 and this is a 6. After doing this, of course, that we can swap these two elements because the absolute difference is 1. So this is 6 and this is a 7. So we have successfully moved this 3 to index 1, which means that the main observation here is that these three elements, 3, 6, and 7, belong to the same group. So we can sort them, and after sorting, we can place them in the final result in the corresponding indices for this group. As I said before, these elements belong to the same group, in which every element has an absolute difference smaller or equal to limit with at least one other element. So how do we see these differences? Well, we can sort the group, right? The difference between 3 and 6 is 3, the difference between 6 and 7 is 1, and these two numbers are smaller or equal to limit, which means that we can go from 3 to 7, for example. So first we can build these groups with something called union find. Let's see how this works. First we need to sort the array that we are given because this is the best way to explore connections. First, we are looking at these two elements. The absolute difference is 0, which happens to be smaller than the limit, so these two elements belong to the same component. We will store components in this map. Keys are unique values in nums, and values are component numbers. We will say that the value number 1 belongs to component number 1 initially. Value number 2 belongs to component number 2. Value 6 belongs to component 6, and so on. Every element belongs to its own component initially. First, we are looking at this connection. The absolute difference is 0, which is more than limit. So here we keep a 1, which means that every number 1 in the array belongs to component number 1. Now we are looking at this connection. The absolute difference is 1, which is more than limit, so these two elements belong to the same component. We can go to the map at either 1 or 2 and replace the corresponding value with the new parent or component. So we can replace this with a 2. And just to be clear, this means that these three elements belong to the same component. Next, we are looking at these two elements. The absolute difference is 4, which is larger than 3, so we have no connection here. We continue with these two elements. The absolute difference is 1, so these two elements belong to the same component. We can go to either 6 or 7 and replace the corresponding value. So here we can use a 7. Next, we are looking at these two elements. The absolute difference is larger than limit, so we have no connection. And now we can build an array for the result where every element is initially the corresponding component of the index. For example, we know that at this index we had a 1, and 1 belongs to component number 2, that's why here we have a 2. Next here we had a 7, which belongs to component number 7, so here we have a 7. Here we had a 6, which belongs to component number 7, that's why here we have another 7, and so on. And as we build this array, we can build a map where keys are component numbers and values are sorted lists. For example, component number 2 has the elements 1, 1, and 2. And with this, we can get the final output. We iterate the elements here which correspond to component numbers. First, we are here. So, what's the first element of component number 2? Well, we go to the map at component number 2, and given that this is in sorted order, we can pop the first element, which means that the first value of the result is a 1, this one. Next, we are here, so we go to component number 7. The first element is a 6, so the value here is 6. Next, we have a 7, so we go to this component, pop the next element, this is a 7. Next, we have 18. So we go here, pop the element, we keep 18. Next here we have a 2, so we go here, pop this. This is a 1. Next we have another 2, so we go here, pop this, and this is another 2. Finally, we can return this. So with this in mind, now let's go with the code and hopefully you will get the idea. First, we can build a class for union find, so we go up here and say class UF. This takes a constructor, so we can do this in Python with self, nums, and the limit that we are given. We can say that parent is a map with x for every x in nums, and we can say that limit is the limit that we are given. Union find has two parts, so let's start with find. This takes self and some number x. We can say if self.parent x is different from x, then we have to go one level deeper, right? So self.parent x is now equal to find with parent x. And if we are here, we can return parent x. Now for the union part, this takes self and two numbers, a and b. First, we can get the corresponding parents. So the parent of a is equal to this, and the parent of b is equal to this. And if the absolute difference between these two numbers, pa and pb, is smaller or equal to self.limit, then we can merge components. So self.parent of pa is equal to pb. This is standard union find. The only difference is that if the absolute difference is smaller or equal to limit, then we merge components, okay? First, we can say that n is the length of nums. UF is an instance of our class using nums and limit. And we can say that S is a sorted array from nums. We are exploring connections, so for every indexing range from 1 to n, every time we are looking at the current and previous elements in the sorted array. So uf.union with the previous element and the current element. And once we have this, we can build a map
where keys are components and values are sorted lists. So this is a default dictionary with a default value of an empty sorted list. Result is an array with 0 times n, and we can say for every index and value in enumerate nums, we say that the current component is uf.find with the current value, and result at the current index is initially the corresponding component, and we can say that component sorted list at the current component dot add the corresponding value. Remember that this will be automatically sorted. So once we have this down here, we can say for every index and component in enumerate result, result I is equal to component sorted list at the current component dot pop, and here we use index 0. This is automatically sorted, so this corresponds to the smallest value of this component. That's how we build the entire result. So down here we can return result. This is the entire code. Let's submit it and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's efficient enough. Regarding time complexity, this part requires big O of n. Each of these methods requires big O of 1 roughly. So this part requires big O of n plus n log n because of sorting, plus n plus n plus n times log n because of operations in sorted lists, plus n. So this is overall n log n regarding time, and regarding space complexity, it's big O of n, which means that maybe you can make this slightly more efficient, but it's already efficient in terms of time and space complexity. If you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.